He was just eating the cheapest roasted corn he could find, but he unexpectedly spotted a business opportunity. His son was sweating from the spicy corn, yet he kept saying he loved it. There was something about that spicy kick that made him want more. At that moment, Richard had an idea. He would create spicy chips and become a millionaire. But their first homemade sauce was overwhelmingly hot. It wasn't the delicious kind of heat they were looking for. Meanwhile, the company's R&D team was also working on spicy flavors, but they were using artificial flavoring and chemical extracts. Richard believed real flavor could only come from natural ingredients grown in the soil. Combined with traditional methods, it could create a taste people would never forget. Determined to succeed, the family tested every pepper they could get their hands on. Richard even built a rotating drum similar to the ones used in factories. Finally, the flavor they had been chasing was ready. They proudly served it to their youngest son.
Burns good or burns bad? It burns good.
The spicy seasoning was finally a success, but at the same time, the factory had begun laying off workers. His supervisor refused to listen to his ideas. He even mocked Richard. Developing a new product takes years. It costs millions of dollars. You're just a janitor. What makes you think you can do it? But giving up was never Richard's style. He secretly slipped into an office. There, he found the company's headquarters phone number. Without hesitation, he called the CEO in Italy. It was a conversation between a man at the bottom of the ladder and one at the very top. At first, the CEO had no idea what Richard was talking about, but one particular statement caught his attention. Richard successfully convinced him to listen.
And you said in the video, think like a CEO. So I did.
You saw my video?
Yes, sir.
And you're a janitor?
Maintenance crew, sir. Look, if it's okay, I'd like to send you some samples, sir.
Richard, that's more than okay with me.
More than okay. Thank you, sir.
The CEO gave him an address. Richard and his wife immediately mailed out some samples. The billionaire CEO had no idea what was coming.
Holy hotness! Mama hot!
The chips were strangely addictive. They were spicy, but impossible to stop eating. Soon afterward, Richard received a phone call. It was the CEO. He was so excited that he hadn't even finished cleaning his hands before calling. Richard's idea was all he could think about. The CEO decided to visit the factory in person. He wanted to meet Richard face to face. The factory executives immediately panicked. Every department started trying to figure out who had gotten the CEO involved. Richard's direct supervisor soon discovered the truth. Richard had gone over his head. In front of everyone, he publicly criticized him. If the CEO rejects your idea and sees how badly this factory is losing money, he'll pull his investment and shut this place down. And when everyone loses their jobs, it'll be your fault. For the first time, Richard began to doubt himself. When he got home, his wife noticed something was wrong. After hearing what happened, she stood him in front of a mirror. She encouraged him to believe in himself. She promised to stand by his side no matter what happened. Then she helped him study. Together, they read books on business and marketing. She even helped him prepare a presentation, and she taught him how to speak confidently to executives. On the day of the CEO's visit, she picked out a tie he normally wouldn't buy. Then she smiled and told him he looked like the most handsome man in the world. When the CEO's car finally arrived at the factory, the moment that could change Richard's life had come. The CEO had little interest in listening to anyone else. He only wanted to meet Richard. With limited time available, he asked Richard to explain his idea immediately. But the scripted business language felt unnatural. Richard couldn't express himself honestly, so he tossed the speech aside and spoke straight from the heart. Then a shareholder interrupted him. "What market share do you expect this product to capture?" Richard had no idea what market share even meant. He thought about the products he saw on store shelves every day. Then he answered in his own way.
This much market share.
His response made the executives laugh, but Richard continued. Speaking as an ordinary working-class man, he described the huge market waiting for the product. The CEO suddenly stood up. He spread his arms wide, just like Richard had. Then he challenged the executives. "You talk so much about market share, but do you really understand your customers?" He thanked Richard and said Richard had given him a lot to think about. Ignoring objections from the shareholders, the CEO approved the investment. The spicy chips were quickly added to the production line.